From Country Club Lanes in Baltimore, Maryland, it's the final women's division qualifier of the Brunswick World Team Challenge. 39 teams from a record 16 states have made their way to Baltimore, Maryland to contest the final qualification spot for the Silver Legacy Grand Championships. And hello again, everybody. Great to have you with us. I'm Mike Jakubowski, along with Women's International Bowling Congress Hall of Famer Virginia Norton. And Virginia, our #1 qualifier today, American Strike, led in qualifying and in the Baker match play.
Well, and this is a team of collegiate All-Americans who have done very well this year in World Team Challenge competition. They finished 5th in Indianapolis and 3rd in Florida.
And in our semifinal match to get to that championship match, our #2 qualifier is Conbow out of Buffalo, New York.
And they're anchored by a red-hot Liz Johnson, who won the latest LPBT title in Hendersonville, Tennessee.
And in that semifinal match, they'll face our #3 qualifier, Cavicchi's Pro Corner.
And Cavicchi's is led by 6-time WASA Bowler of the Year, Carol Zarr, who averaged 237 during the qualifying.
It should be an excellent round of competition. Stay tuned for our semifinal match. It's coming right up.
A dancer. It's off the chart. It's on target. Concrete. A theory. Ruthless. Only meaner. It's there in the 10th frame. Perfect symmetry. It's a partner. A hero. A scapegoat. It's war and peace. It's a Brunswick ball. For any lane. It's a habit.
When it comes to making quality bowling shoes, no company does it better than Linz. And now Linz has designed an entirely new approach with the Classic Extra. The Linz Classic Extra offers the ability to change the sliding characteristics of both the sole and the heel, providing virtually unlimited options. If you find the approaches are a bit slick or tacky, the Classic Extra enables you to compensate by simply replacing the color-coded slide inserts. Don't settle for anything less than the best. Classic Extra from Linz. Right, why is bowling my favorite sport? No matter how bad a shot you throw, you never lose your ball, and it always comes back to you. There are never any rainouts, and striking out's a good thing. Bowling allows me to keep up with old friends, and also it gives me the opportunity to make new ones. It's a lot easier to hit one pocket than it is 6. I don't have to set up my own pins or keep my own score anymore. Everyone's a winner when you take the family bowling. Join in the fun. Take the family bowling this week.
The Brunswick World Team Challenge is brought to you by the Women's International Bowling Congress and the American Bowling Congress, providing championship service to sanctioned leagues across the United States. Make sure your league is sanctioned by the national governing bodies. By Contour Power Grips, the pioneers of the finger grip industry. More pros choose Contour Power Grips. You should too. By Linz Shoes. For the performance approach, it's American-made Linz Shoes, the choice of top professionals and amateurs alike. And Brunswick. Bowling is sold on Brunswick worldwide. And welcome back to Country Club Lanes for our semifinal match in this final women's division qualifier on the Brunswick World Team Challenge. Opening up on the left lane, lane 37, Jennifer Daugherty for Conbow from Buffalo, New York.
And Jennifer's also got a really hot hand right now. She's just coming back from the FIQ American Zone Youth Championships, where she picked up 2 golds and a silver medal. A little bit of a soft pin on the first shot, picking up another ball to go cross lane. No problem.
And opening frame for Daugherty on the spare as we now get our first look at Cavicchi's corner and leadoff player Becky Mullen. The 1-6 on her shirt indicates that she will bowl in the 1st and 6th frames here for Cavicchi's. 2 games, total pins determine our winner. Crossing over, all but the 9.
Well, and that shot showed a little bit of nerve. She isn't real experienced on television, and she's kind of smiling knowing it. She rolled the ball a little slow and the ball just took off on her. Fortunately for her, she left a very easy spare. And there again, a little bit of nerves and a little bit of the lane condition also.
What do you mean by that, Virginia? As we get a look at our Contour Power Grips starting lineup, brought to you by the legends, pioneers in the finger grip industry. More pros choose Contour Power Grips. You should too.
And our first look at Laura Colavito. A little bit high, but she trips out the 6-pin. One of the things that happens, and it happened here more than it did at the qualifying house for the ladies, there was a little extra oil on the outside of the lane. So if you sent it a little bit wide, it didn't come back. And that's exactly what happened for Becky in the first frame.
For Swanson, for Cavicchi's. Second frame. Follows on the cross.
Well, and I don't think that looked like a nervous shot. It looks like the lanes haven't quite settled in from the transition. This looks a little inside of target, but not a lot. And the back ends are still hooking. The girls are waiting for the oil to get down the lane.
Susan Jeziorski. Solid in the pocket. And a double for Conbow.
And that's a big double for Conbow. Off to a very strong start.
And our starting lineup brought to you by Contour Power Grips. For Cavicchi's corner, Mullen, Swanson, Carol Zarr, Kathy Cavicchi, and Sheila Allen will anchor.
And here's the look at Carol Zarr, that 6-time Wasson Player of the Year. And she didn't get those titles rolling the ball through the nose, but I really think that this pair may not be matched up, meaning it looks like this right-hand lane is hooking a lot more than the left. She's playing a little bit further right than most of the rest of the players, but she's got a lot of experience.
Oh, and if you notice that qualifying average, 760 and 666 qualifying series for Zarr. That 760 is the highest series, the highest 3-game total ever shot in the Ladies World Team Challenge.
Well, and we see here Conbow is already getting off to a very good start. But as we've seen in the past, when they make the switch, sometimes things change a lot.
Here's Susanne Nawojski. 2-4-10.
Little bit wide. She got into the out of bounds, that extra oil to the right, and the ball didn't quite come back. 2-4-10 not being a real tough spare, but it isn't exactly easy either.
How would you go about making this, Virginia?
She needs to get to the left-hand side of the 2-pin, send the 2 into the 10. And the way the middle of the lane is hooking, she may be able to do it. A little too much hook.
And a couple of open frames. 16 pins down is Cavicchi.
And this is Sheila Allen. A little bit high. Correct that. This is Kathy Cavicchi. And that was just a little bit high. She feels very, very comfortable in this 4th position. I know that they've moved things around a little bit, and that's what good Baker system bowlers do. So, easy 4-pin. Oh, she got it out in the oil too. The ball never came back. I think a little of that is knowing the center of the lane is hooking. You see the ball go right here, and when it gets out beyond the 2nd arrow to the right, it has a little extra oil and won't come back.
4th frame, 27-pin lead for Conbow. Get to our anchor players who bowl the 5th and 10th frames. Here's Liz Johnson for Conbow. Pro bowler.
And bowling really well right now. Very good carry for Conbow. A little bit high, trips out the 4-pin. Excellent form. You see good, strong rotation into the pocket. Watch the 2 trip out the 4-7.
Combow's last 4 games in qualifying, all over 1,000. So they were averaging 200 apiece over the last 4 games of qualifying, leading into our Baker match play round. Sheila Allen, anchoring for Cavicchi's. Fifth frame, first game of 2 here with Baker's system.
And
Bit outside.
Well, she got over the top of the ball, but there again, you start seeing your bowlers miss to the right and get it outside the second arrow. You get a little bit of the yips, which means you're going to pull the ball. And the ball just went well left of the head pin. And considering that she just went left of the head pin, this isn't necessarily an easy spare to make either. With the 9 pin sitting back there, she's going to try and flatten the ball out a little, I believe, to try and make the spare. Uh-oh.
And missing the head pin. 2 open frames, that's 3 open frames for Cavicchi's. We'll be back with more of our semifinal match after this. Welcome back to the Brunswick World Team Challenge from Country Club Lanes in Baltimore. 6th frame, first game in our 2-game Baker match. Jennifer Daugherty picking up a strike.
And she just looked like she went around the ball, over the top of it. The ball hooked early. Big break for a double for Conbow. The follow-through was good, but her hand went over the top of the ball. You don't get those very often.
She picked up the strike and the double, and a 48-pin lead now for Conbow.
Becky Mullen trying to get her team untracked here.
Crossed over on the first shot, and then she missed the other way.
What's kind of interesting is in watching them during the warm-ups prior to the show, they didn't look like they were having quite this much trouble. I don't know if that lane happens to be in transition. It's very warm in here, so that could have an effect. And of course, nerves, and when you're down by this much this early, that certainly is a factor.
Vicky's picking up the first spare in 6 frames.
And a big smile. Okay, another mark.
And a helping hand from the team. That'll get everybody loosened up just a little bit. Laura Colavito making her first Brunswick Team Challenge TV appearance. Struck on her first attempt back in the second. Crosses over, and a 58-pin lead for Conbow.
Well, and you look at her eyes after she rolls this. She pulled the ball goes Brooklyn, trips out the 6-pin. Her first shot, she tripped out the 4-pin. On her first shot, she tripped out the 6-pin. So
that's the game of bowling.
Right now, they're living on breaks.
Salad in the pocket.
Nice shot. Can't trip out the 4.
And we can look at some of the high games bowled this weekend. American Strike, our tournament leader, 1147. Pair from Cavicchi's corner, 1134 and 1102. That's 220 plus per bowler.
There were a lot of high scores during the qualifying, but remember, these ladies went from another bowling center to this one after qualifying and had to bowl match play here.
Shannon Duplantis picked up $1,000 in Florida when she bowled 300, missing 298, the Lynn Shoe bonus on that 298.
And a great shot by Sue Jeziorski to give her team four in a row and a very commanding 68-pin lead.
That's 4 in a row and 6 of 7 for Conbow. But of course, a 2-game match will turn things around at the end and bowl on the opposite lane.
Much better.
Oh, a bad break.
And a terrible break, and that's not exactly what this Cavicchi's team needed at this point. Carol goes nice and straight down the lane. You see her get to the 5-pin. The 5 doesn't take the 7, and the head pin doesn't come across with the messenger. So that will be 2 open frames for Carol Zarr, and I'm sure that when she gets on the other lane, she'll rectify that.
Both on splits.
Now here's Susanne Nawojski, 82-pin lead for Conbow on 4 in a row in the 9th frame, first game of our semifinal match.
Looking to make it 5. Great
Solid in the pocket.
And both Susan Jeziorski, as we watch this shot go down the lane, solid in the pocket. Both Susan Jeziorski and Susanne Nawojski. Very solid.
Cavicchi in the ninth, looking to get something going, load up.
Good shot. They just haven't gotten anything going on this right-hand lane. But during the match play earlier, what we saw was one lane. We saw a couple of 130s on one lane. They turned around and shot 230 on the other lane. So that's certainly a possibility.
And there's that all-time 3-game set in the Brunswick World Team Challenge qualifying for Carol Zarr, 760.
A lot of other good scores, 703 and 698.
Liz Johnson just missing out the 7. Spare for Cavicchi. And the high score bonus is in play, as a strike is all is needed by Conbow on the first ball in the 10th to get to the 240 mark. And Contour Power Grips will pay $500.
At this point, I can't think of another person that I'd rather have rolling the ball. She's been really hot lately. Great shot.
There it is. High roller bonus for the 240 game.
And I'm not sure she realized it. She realizes that she's building the lead for her team, but I don't think they realize that they've just collected another $500.
And every team that bowls on TV is entitled to the high score bonus brought to us by the High Roller Tournament Series. Eligible to receive $500 bonuses for each TV Baker game of 240 and over and each 450 series. So that's a possibility of $1,500 per match, per team.
Good shot.
Wow.
And you see the heavy roll that she has on the ball and the really good carry that creates. She's been high, light, and high, and all of them have carried.
She has those New Brunswick pins dancing down there. That's 9 of 10 for Conbow. Throwing everything they have at Cavicchi's. But we will have a second game to this match.
If she gets any pins on this shot, they'll have at least a 100-pin lead going into the second game.
And that's 253 for Conbow in the first of our 2-game Baker match. And an extra $500 bonus tacked on by the High Roller Tournament Series.
A lot of smiles on that side of the bowling area. A few more concerned faces on the right.
Sheila Allen needs to punch out for 151.
That's a good shot.
There we go.
And she was very, very strong when they needed her in the 10th frame and in the 5th frame during the Baker system.
Sheila's 28, a computer programmer for IBM. First team college All-American while attending Penn State University.
Another nice shot. Well, at least they're going to finish with a real positive note here. You'll see a lot of the ladies out here that bowl very, very well in this competition. Bowl well because they've had a lot of experience in college with the Baker system. Some of the other ladies, some of the ladies that went out on tour and didn't go to college, haven't had that much. And I know that I've talked to several of them and they said, boy, this is a lot of fun, but it takes some getting used to.
And Allen goes out for 151. It's going to be a 102-pin lead for Conbow. And the rest of our top 10 in Baker match play, Krause Brothers finishing 4th.
Brunswick Frameworks out of Muskegon, Michigan, finishing 5th.
Leisure Recreation finishing 6th from Slidell, Louisiana.
Paradise Lanes, our Canadian contingent, finished 7th.
Starkey Labs, Clifton, New Jersey, finishing number 8.
And in 9th position, Bolorama Lanes out of Danville, Kentucky.
And finishing number 10th, there's Tara Henderson and Lisa Skubinski, 2 players that were on our Women's Division Grand Championship team a season ago. We'll be back with Game 2 of our semifinal match after this break.
I've won 23 PBA titles and 2 ABC Masters with Contour Power Grips. They're my choice. Don't you think they should be your choice?
That's a winner, folks. What a great performance by Ernie Schlegel.
You know, Earl, I never really thought I had anything in common with you until I won the ABC Masters title.
Ah, but Ernie, I won the Masters twice.
But Earl,
And Ernie, I've won 46 times on the PBA tours.
But Earl,
And I'm also been elected to both the ABC and PBA Halls of Fame.
Okay, enough. I get the picture.
Well, there is one thing we do have in common, Ernie. We both use contour power grips.
And they give me the feel I want shot after shot.
That's right, and they have the styles and colors that can make anybody's game better.
Contour power grips will also help me win my second Masters title, too.
Yeah, Ernie. Contour Power Grips, manufactured by the pioneers in the finger grip industry, Pro Sports Systems. More pros choose Contour Power Grips. You should too. Ask your Pro Shop professional for Contour Power Grips.
Looking for more strikes and more bowling fun? Then look no further than Going for the Gold with Team USA coach Fred Borden. As today's top instructor, Coach Borden will show you ways to reach your full potential. Professional bowlers Mike Albee and Leila Wagner work with Coach Borden to show you the sure way to higher scores. This 12-lesson video is available for only $24.95.
Mike Jakubowski and Virginia Norton back at Country Club Lanes, game 2 of our semifinal match, where Vicky's corner pro shop finds themselves 2 pins down.
And Becky Mullen a little bit high on this left-hand lane. It'll be interesting to see if they have as much problem on the left-hand lane. Now, I think a few of the jitters, first time on television and so forth, are going to be gone, but that 100-pin deficit is something to be reckoned with. Needs to hook. And just like we've seen in the past, even though the 253 game, the Conbow shot is a huge game, you can't miss spares in the Baker system. It is absolutely imperative to mark every frame.
Cavicchi's only 3, or rather 2 of 5 on single spare conversions at this point. 8 in a row, Conbow at this point. And tripping the 4-7 is Jennifer Daugherty. Make that 9 in a row for Conbow, dating back to the first game.
Well, and they're very loose at this point, so that makes it even easier. Jennifer Swanson wanting to get something going for her team.
Jennifer's 21, account coordinator.
Out to the right. A little bit too far into the out of bounds, leaves the 1-2-8. It shouldn't be a difficult spare, but once in a while, when you try and cross the head pin, you get a little extra hook, ball hooks away. Picking up another ball to try and go a little straighter with it. Nice spare.
Seemed to throw that a little faster as well.
I think that's normal for her spare shot. She wants to pick the speed up, make sure the ball doesn't hook. Nice form, nice knee bend. Ball doesn't hook away. Perfect.
Colavito for Conbow. 2 for 2 this far, making 3 for 3. And 10 in a row for Conbow.
Unfortunately, they don't add up your Andy Verapapa 300 games. Andy used to count any 12 strikes he had in a row as a 300 game.
I guess I would too if I've been in this situation.
Andy Verapapa, of course, an ABC Hall of Famer and quite an artist on the lanes. He did clinics, he did exhibitions, and he was a real key. Carol Zarr, lifetime stats, 2 Baker games on television. And this was, of course, prior to this match. Pin? No problem.
Got a little bit of a hitch in her swing.
She does, but her timing, it works for her, and she is so practiced at it that you see the little kick, but when she gets to the line, everything's there, and you can't argue with Bowler of the Year 6 times. Of course, that's in the Wausau organization here on the East Coast.
The Wausau organization is What type of organization is that?
It's a women's all-star association run by Pearl Keller, who is here with us today. And Pearl does a great job with that organization. They run tournaments probably every other weekend, maybe every third weekend. And there's the hook in the middle of the lane. She goes a little bit light, leaves the 2-8. There's Pearl. And I'm sure she's looking down, trying to keep her stats.
Certainly a pleasure to see Pearl. And we'll be back with more of our semifinal match from Country Club Lanes. More of our semifinal match from Country Club Lanes in Baltimore, Maryland. Final opportunity to advance to the Silver Legacy Grand Championships coming up in August. Oh my.
And Kathy Cavicchi having, she and her team having their share of problems. They just can't get lined up, loosened up. 1, 2, 4, excuse me, 1, 2, 7, 8, 10. Not an easy spare, but it's really just like shooting the washout, the 1, 2, 10. Get the ball to the left-hand side of the head pin, send the head pin into the 10. Sometimes you get a break and get a little action off the wall, but not this time. Sometimes when the pins have you down, they just aren't going to let you up.
Here's Susanne Nawojski, bar and restaurant manager, shot .581 and .624 in her 6 games of qualifying.
Good steady scores, especially for this kind of competition. That one she lost off of her hand. She dropped the ball, tried to retrieve it with her fingers, and when she did, she got a little too much hook. Here we see that shot again. Right at the bottom of the swing, you're going to see her lose the ball, and then she tries to catch it with her fingers. Her arm swing goes a little bit left, and she leaves the Greek church. Going for it. Oh. Gets 4 of the 5. That's a good shot. And fortunately for them in this position, they're not in any problem at all. Here you get the 6 pin over into the 7. Just can't rattle that 6 pin out of the channel and get it to knock the 4 over. Sheila Allen, a little bit light, the 2-5. She was the saving grace as we look at her previous stats. 2 Baker games also. She had the saving grace in the first game, striking out in the 10th, but I'm afraid it's going to be a little bit too little, too late. At this point, they're going to try and fill these frames up. And probably looking at exiting soon, unfortunately.
Well, if you're Conbow, what can you do with these remaining 6 frames to kind of feel out or get ready for the next match?
Well, they've already been on these lanes for practice session, but there is a little bit of transition, and of course the lights dry up the lanes also. What you can do is test it a little, maybe move a little deeper, see how much time you've got if the lanes do break down anymore, and especially this right-hand lane since it's closer to the lights.
Liz Johnson not having any problems, striking 5 times in her 5 shots. Last time around now for the bowlers. 6th frame.
Liz Johnson talking to Susanne, but there's no problem in this game, this match. Except there is for Cavicchi's. Becky's still having a problem, a little bit light, leaving the 210. And what this would indicate to me, we saw them have a problem go heavy on the right-hand lane when they were on lane 38. I think the lanes may be different enough that they made the adjustment, and now there's still another adjustment to make. And when you're only rolling your strike ball twice in each game, you can't make a lot of adjustments.
Becky Mullen with 4 opens in her 4 Baker games. And 3 opens today. Here's Jennifer Daugherty, 2 strikes and a spare.
And you saw the good concentration, a little bit high, Leaves the 4-pin, no problem.
Jennifer's a student at the University of Nebraska, and no doubt Bill Straub is happy to have her in that program.
Absolutely. She's already done a lot as far as the other state amateur and youth bowling championships, so she'll add a lot to his program.
We'll be back with the remainder of our semifinal match right after this.
You're a winner, and you deserve recognition. In sanctioned leagues and tournaments, 2 million awards are handed out each year by the national governing bodies of bowling, the American Bowling Congress, the Women's International Bowling Congress, and the Young American Bowling Alliance.
But your membership card entitles sanctioned league bowlers to more than the awards program.
There's more than $1 million each for college scholarships and veterans hospitals, bowlers supporting their communities.
Every member has a chance to compete in thousands of special events, locally, nationally, and internationally.
Sanctioned leagues also provide for the standardization of rules and supplies, plus league prize money is bonded.
Equipment testing and research helps advance the sport.
Your membership card does all that.
And every lane is inspected annually by local association volunteers. In short, everything runs smoother, and sanctioned leagues are a lot more fun.
So have more fun and help shape the future of bowling by making sure your league is sanctioned by the national governing bodies, the ABC, WIBC, or YABA.
Welcome back to Country Club Lanes, bowling on lanes 37 and 38 in this very nice 40-lane facility in Baltimore, Maryland.
Jennifer Swanson trying to get anything going that they can, and it's just not going to happen. She goes light, leaves the 7-pin, picking up again her spare ball to go straight across the lane. But Cavicchi's is going to finish third in this competition this year, which, considering the 39 teams and the 16 states that the ladies traveled from, is quite the accomplishment. Sticking a little, still able to follow through and make the spare. And Laura Colavito, 3 of 3, trying to make it 4 of 4 in this match in the strike department. Hold it. Didn't get a break this time. In the first game, she crossed over like that and tripped the 4-pin. This time, it didn't happen. They're still looking at a possible 450 high roller bonus also. They would receive another $500 if they were to get to 450, but at this point, they're going to have to get some strikes. Uh-oh.
That's going to hurt.
It looks like she may have lost that, and considering how warm it is down on the lanes, I'm sure their hands are perspiring quite a bit. Easy to lose the ball. Carol Zarr, who just dominated yesterday's competition during qualifying, and has struggled a little bit today during the television show, but she bowled very well during the Baker format.
Carol Zarr owns a lifetime high series of 823, won the Ladies Professional Bowlers Tour regional title, 2 Pennsylvania state titles.
And she's the assistant manager in a bowling center. So sometimes that means you get to practice, but most of the time it doesn't.
After hours, I would imagine.
That's right.
Here's Sue Jeziorski, pair of strikes and an open on the day.
Well, and she wanted to send along congratulations to her father, Art, who was just inducted into the New York State Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Art.
And part of that induction to the Hall of Fame entitled his being the ABC Team All Events champion back in 1975. Picked up an eagle as a Team All Events champion in 1975.
3-6 spare, and there you see the oil out on the edge of the lane. She's kind of laughing about it. In another situation, I'm sure she wouldn't be quite so relaxed about it, let's say. But at this point, you can see that there's a little bit of difference between the center of the lane and the outside of the lane. A lot more oil toward the edge. Good shot.
There's Kathy Cavicchi with a strike, the member of the Long Island Hall of Fame. 3 strikes and a spare in her previous lifetime TV stats here on the Brunswick World Team Challenge.
And a big smile because she knows she finished out well. Great shot here. Good lift. Nice rotation.
There's Nawojski, a strike and 2 opens.
She looks like she's losing the ball. And I'm not sure that tape will help at this point. She needs something to dry her hand, a towel, maybe a grip sack, something like that, because it looks like she's losing the ball. And if she continues to do that, it's going to make it a little more difficult. Yes, as you see here, you see everybody maybe. You see Jeziorski putting tape in the ball, checking the fit. She still lost that ball and resulted in another open frame.
Well, part of bowling is coping with the conditions inside the bowling center. And as we had a rather warm weekend here in the Baltimore area and a rather full bowling center filled with bowlers.
Absolutely.
Keeping up with the conditions is part of the game.
Sheila Allen finishing out for Cavicchi's. Just like she did in the first game. It's not going to help the results of the week, but it'll help next time she's on television. Conbow bowled so great the first game. They shot 253. We said that there was probably a difference between the 2 lanes. They've had 5 opens this game on lane 38. And that, of course, was the game, the lane that Cavicchi started on.
Well, Allen likes the 10th frame. And we have our grand championships coming up. All of the culmination of the season here on the Brunswick World Team Challenge will wind up at the National Bowling Stadium in Reno, the Silver Legacy Grand Championships. And our 6th season begins in September at Hollywood Bowl in Portland, Oregon. Columbus, Ohio following in October. And our first women's division stop will be in Laurel, New Jersey in the middle of October. And our open division, of course, will also be there. As the Brunswick World Team Challenge steams ahead to its 6th season, and Sheila Allen with 6 strikes in the 10th frame. If you'd like information on how to get your team in the Brunswick World Team Challenge, either in the open or women's division, give us a call on the hotline, 414-423-3387.
And we get to see Liz Johnson finish up for her team. They have struggled this game. She's got 5 strikes herself, but the rest of the team struggled this game. Make that 6 of 6. Big smile.
And you may see the pro bowler Liz Johnson, but this tournament is open to all WIBC members.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, the pros, for the most part, are out on tour right now. Liz and Sue are both professional bowlers, and they made it here in between stops. But some of the other ladies opted to not come, and they would have had a great time here in the Baltimore area.
And as next year, only 1 touring player will be allowed per team next year for the women's division events.
That's right. This year it was 2. Some of the teams they felt were a little bit too strong, and certainly you can see the talent here. I think the biggest thing is when you've got people that have bowled the Baker format in college like Liz did, and of course through Team USA, and you've got the kind of talent that they've got and the experience on television, it's really important.
Johnson's not bothered by anything in the building. 8 strikes and 8 tries. We'll be back to take you around the bowling world, and after that, our championship match from Country Club Lanes here on the Brunswick World Team Challenge.
Now it's time to go around the bowling world, brought to you by the High Roller Tournament Series. Reigning United States Amateur Champion Lucy Giovinco highlighted a dominant overseas performance by Team USA as she captured the South African Open singles title. Giovinco won it in grand fashion, firing a near-perfect 298 game in the title match against Team USA teammate Kendra Cameron. Cameron finished second to Giovinco in a rematch of last year's U.S. Amateur Championships. All news was not bad for Cameron, as the 2-time Team USA member shined at the Women's International Bowling Congress Championship Tournament at the National Bowling Stadium in Reno. The Gambrels, Maryland native took over the Olivents lead in the Classic Division with a record score of 20-39 on series of 740 in team, 701 in doubles, and 598 in singles. Kendra led Team USA to victory in last February's Brunswick World Team Challenge Women's Division qualifier in Indianapolis and should be a key player in the upcoming Silver Legacy Brunswick World Team Challenge Grand Championships in August. Lucille No was recently honored by the Women's International Bowling Congress for participating in her 50th WIBC tournament in Reno, Nevada. No, who bowled in her first WIBC championship in 1946, has missed only 2 tournaments since then and plans to bowl in at least 10 more. Good luck, Lucille. The WIBC has made available a newly designed certificate of appreciation for local, state, and provincial association leaders to honor their hard work. Certificates are available by request a minimum of 20 days before presentation. Donna Lopiano, the executive director of the Women's Sports Foundation, was recently presented with a WIBC honorary membership. She has been ranked as one of the 100 most influential people in sports on 3 occasions by the Sporting News. Lopiano became only the 3rd honoree in the WIBC's 80-year history. The WIBC honored bowling first ladies, Lady Bird Johnson and Pat Nixon, with the first 2 honorary memberships. Who could forget Bob Przicki's dramatic and emotional win at the 1997 Super Bowl High Roller? The people at Brunswick have not. The Union City, New Jersey bowling proprietor signed to exclusively use Brunswick equipment in the upcoming High Roller in his quest for back-to-back titles. Around the Bowling World has been brought to you by the High Roller Tournament Series. Call 800-257-6179 for entry information. The Brunswick World Team Challenge from Country Club Lanes in Baltimore, Maryland returns with our championship match after these messages.
The Brunswick World Team Challenge is brought to you by the Silver Legacy Casino, proud host of the 1997 Grand Championships, August 24th through the 28th, with qualifying in the exciting finals at the National Bowling Stadium in Reno, Nevada. American Strike on the left, Conbow on your right will decide in this 2-game Baker match who will advance to the final spot in those Grand Championships. And now Conbow, winners of that first match, 414 to 329. Jennifer Daugherty leads off.
And she's been very, very strong, very steady. Good shot. Great shot. A little bit light, rips the rack. And they're getting a little more animated than they were in that opening match. Of course, when they get off to a 100-pin lead, makes a big difference.
Here's Janette Piesczynski, 211 in qualifying on series of 616 and 650.
Well, and Janette is the ACUI Intercollegiate Champion this year. First lady ever to go undefeated.
And the starting lineup is brought to you by Contour Power Grips, pioneers in the finger grip industry. For American Strike, it's Piesczynski, Laurie Ross, Marcia Kamrowski, Kulick, and Keli Rapp. More pros choose Contour Power Grips. You should too. And a first spare attempt for Piesczynski, who's only 19, a student at the University of Nebraska.
But a lot of experience with this Baker formula. She looks a little bit careful with the ball right now. She left the 3-6-10 a little bit slow, made the spare, and that's going to help things. Laura Colavito. Laura's been high on almost every shot here. She probably made an adjustment, went light. Not an easy spare. The 3, 5, 6, 9, 10. And there are a whole bunch of ways to miss this spare. There are only about 2 ways to make it. They don't want to get off to a bad start. And looking at the way they set up, the left-hand lane is definitely the higher scoring of the 2 lanes. On lane 37, the 2 teams in the first match averaged 215. In the right-hand lane, 156. Nice spare.
And Kurt Pisano, the manager here at Country Club Lanes, we thank him for his support and his staff and his help. And he also bowled in this event. in the open division event.
And
Which is also held here at Country Club, of course, with the ladies qualifying at Perry Hall lanes, and then their match play and a TV show competing here at Country Club.
And this has been a long day for a lot of these ladies. What a great shot by Laurie Ross.
And Conbow swapping their 38 and 49 players between games. Nawojski moves to 3-8, Jeziorski moves to 4-9.
And that probably a pretty good swap, because Nawojski had a little bit of problem. She had 3 opens in that opening match. So they want to put the strikes together. Susanne Jeziorski had 2 strikes. She had 2 opens as well, but at least if she's striking, when you've got Liz Johnson coming up 8 for 8, it puts you in a real good position for the 10th frame.
Nawojski is 32. 1993 Buffalo City Queens champion.
Uh-oh. Center of the lane definitely hooks on both of these lanes, and if you get a little bit soft with it, watch the ball just get to the center of the lane and go left. Open frame for Conbow early in this match.
Nawojski not happy with herself. Here's Marcia Kamrowski. 4 American strike, 3rd frame, first
Hold
game.
And what a great break.
And a double for American strike here in the early going, 23-pin lead. We'll be back with more of our championship match following these messages.
I take the same route to the local pro shop. I wear the same boxers on every show. I watch the same TV program every week. I listen to the same CD every night. I eat the same thing on Wednesdays. I am the same man I used to be. I have a different ball for every lane, but they're all from the same company.
When it comes to making quality bowling shoes, no company does it better than Linz. And now Linz has designed an entirely new approach with the Classic Extra. The Linz Classic Extra offers the ability to change the sliding characteristics of both the sole and the heel, providing virtually unlimited options. If you find the approaches are a bit slick or tacky, the Classic Extra enables you to compensate by simply replacing the color-coded slide inserts. Don't settle for anything less than the best. Classic Extra from Linz.
4th frame, first of 2 in the championship match here from Country Club lanes. Jeziorski coming up with a 10-pin.
And a really pretty decent shot, a little bit light in the pocket. She's running over to get her spare ball. On a condition especially like this one, where the center of the lane hooks, it's important to have a ball that's going to go straighter for you, shooting either side of the lane. Good shot. She looked a little bit worried about it. Got out to that oil on the outside edge and wanted to go in the channel. And we've seen others that have done that in very key positions in our other telecasts.
Here's Keli Kulick, 20 years old. Oh.
And I don't know if you heard it, but her teammates said, "Are you all right?" And I think that's, again, a matter of the heat and humidity here. She loses the ball. She's got a high backswing. The ball comes off her hand way early, gets out in that oil, and never has a chance. Gone. You see her try and retrieve it with her follow-through, but it just didn't happen. Dried her hand. See if she can pick up this spare. And a great break, even though they were working on a double, so that was an important loss of count. Now they're only up by 13 because of that, but remember, this is a 2-game match, and they're still ahead, bowling on that tougher right-hand lane.
Now here's Liz Johnson. Nothing but strikes in that first match in 8 tries. 222 qualifying average on series of 698, 634. A
little wide. And I don't necessarily think that she has made an adjustment. I think she just got a little bit wide.
And here's Liz's lifetime TV stats. Kind of shaky on TV. 6 Baker games, 5 opens.
I think she rectified that today in a big way.
Well, Liz Johnson making Grand Championship appearances as well. On the spare, her first on the day.
And again, even Liz picking up another ball to go straighter at the spare. Keli Rapp, the anchor bowler on this American strike team. And they really have bowled well. Again, we'll mention the fact that they finished 5th in Indianapolis and 3rd in Florida, so they are into this type of competition. Good shot.
Strike for Rapp.
And you see them getting a few of the breaks that Cavicchi's didn't get, because a light shot like this one, she rolls the ball well, she gets real good rotation, ball breaks into the pocket. But with Cavicchi's, we saw a 7-pin left on that shot, and then maybe missed.
And a great smile, and Rapp brings her teammates to their feet, gets that camaraderie going, which is so part of the excitement here in the Baker system.
Jennifer Daugherty pulled the ball a little bit, left the 3-6. They're going to feel a little bit more pressure in the next game and a half. They got off to such a big start in that opening match, and now they're actually finding themselves behind. Spare is very important in this competition. The 3-6, certainly not a gimme.
Jennifer was the Illinois State Amateur Champ back in 1994. That would have been at the tender age of 17 on the spare.
And Janette Piesczynski looking to extend her team's lead, working on a strike in the 5th. They're up by 14 pins already.
Piesczynski, solid in the fight.
Make it 24 pins that they're leading.
And we'll be back with more of our championship match right after this from Country Club Lanes.
I've basically used Contour Power Grips my whole professional career. I like the consistent feel they give me ball to ball. I use the oval thumb grip. That's my favorite product, and I'm going to continue to use it as long as I bowl professionally.
More top players use Contour Power Grips. You should too.
Looking for more strikes and more bowling fun? Then look no further than Going for the Gold with Team USA coach Fred Borden. As today's top instructor, Coach Borden will show you ways to reach your full potential. Professional bowlers Mike Albee and Leila Wagner work with Coach Borden to show you the sure way to higher scores. This 12-lesson video is available for only $24.95.
Absolute power corrupts. Abso-frickin-lutely!
It's not enough to love the game. You gotta love to win.
Don't roll with the punches. Throw them.
Jeannie Nacarado, 3-time WIBC titleist and 1995 Brunswick World Team Challenge Grand Champion for Contour Power Grips.
I use Contour Power Grips because they add more revolutions to my game, which in turn helps me to score better.
And while we were away, Laurie Ross on a strike for Conbow. And there's the second strike, Marcia Kamrowski answering, as we have an even match. All of a sudden, 8 frames in, first game of 2 in the Baker system here at Country Club Lanes. Conbow back in. Jeziorski with a chance to go for 3.
And you see, you know, a little bit of the tightening that we talked about earlier. The ladies are pulling the ball a little bit more. Certainly some of that is the lanes drying out also. They're going to have to make some adjustments here. Certainly the first order of business is making the spare. Good shot. very, very warm in here, and while we were away, we saw Laurie Ross miss the 610 because, again, she lost the ball off of her hand.
There's Kelly Kulick. Strike, American strike up by 1. Chance to extend to 11 with a strike here in the 9th.
Good shot.
Gets the 4.
I'm sure she was a little concerned when she saw the ball break high, but most of the high hits, especially if you've got real strong roll, have been carrying. So American strike again takes the lead. Now, if Liz Johnson can bowl in the fashion she has all day, she can strike out and her team can shoot 203 in this opening game.
Shot. What a nice shot.
Liz Johnson, quite the clutch player and a lot of experience.
9 of 10 to this point for Conbow. 9 strikes and 10 opportunities for Liz Johnson.
Probably none more important than this next one to get their team back in this match. Good concentration. Good shot. Great shot. We mentioned earlier that she's been on Team USA in 1994 and 95 and then decided to turn professional and was subsequently Rookie of the Year in 1995. But what a great career she's had already. And it's because she is such a clutch player.
Only 23 is Liz Johnson.
Good shot. Good place for that.
And an opening 202 for Conbow.
Keli Rapp needing to answer for her team. If she strikes out, her team takes a 22-pin lead. They can shoot 224 in this opening game. Very, very important. And what a big game that would be on this right-hand lane that both Conbow and Cavicchi had struggled on. Good shot. Good light. So this match, of course, providing she makes the spare, is virtually going to be even going into the second game. It'll be interesting to see how Conbow bowls on this right-hand lane after how much they struggled in that opening match. 161 in the opening match after starting with 253. Good shot. Well, a strike here and they'll be leading by 1 pin, which is nothing.
Slimmest of margins. 1 stick.
Of course, if it was the second game, 1 pin would be all it would take. Taking her time. You see her wiping the ball off and certainly drying her hand. We've seen a lot of the ladies losing the ball, and she doesn't want to lose the ball at this time. Good shot.
Oh, there it is. Nice shot by Keli Rapp. 203. 202, 1 pin. And we'll be back with game 2 after this. It's going to come down to game 2 from Country Club Lanes to decide the winner here of the Women's Division Brunswick World Team Challenge. Janette Piesczynski. Bit tight.
Well, and it looked like she stuck a little bit. Most of the time when you stick, you tend to pull up at the line and then pull the ball. This not a good start for them on this left-hand lane. Picking up another ball, gonna go cross lane. And since they've only got a 1-pin lead in this match, it would be very advisable if she were to get 2 of these 3, if she can't get them all. She went for it. Lost that extra pin and count.
And in addition to the prize fund, be playing for Brunswick bowling equipment for each of the players. Lynn's extra shoes, a pair of shoes for everyone on the team. And championship rings from Keepsake. In addition to that, all expense paid trip to the Grand Championships in Reno.
And a lot of fun. Of course, all of these ladies the entire field talked about how much fun they had bowling in this event. This lane may have changed a little, because I think she may have pulled it a little bit from her reaction. I don't think she expected the ball to do that. And since this team bowls together fairly well, I would expect her to discuss this with her teammates once she comes back, after hopefully picking this spare up. 310, baby split, trying to go between them. Almost.
And a pair of splits, a pair of missed opportunities early here in the first frame. So we have an even match.
And here we see she wants the ball to hook, and it wouldn't have needed to hook much. But she goes by the 3-pin on the right, gets the 10, and now we're all even in this match with 9 frames to go in the final event for the ladies of the Brunswick World Team Challenge Championship.
And Laurie Ross crosses over, accepting congratulations. And Laurie in 2 previous Baker games on TV, staying clean with a strike and 3 spares. Filling the frames.
And that's the key.
System.
The key to the Baker system is fill those frames. Laura Colavito, a little bit light on her first shot. New lane. Light again. So we saw this happen in the first frame of the first game this set. Same thing here. Again, the 3-5-6, not necessarily an easy spare. A lot of the pros don't like this spare because they chop the 3-6 off the 5. Nope, that one needed to hook up. And that's, again, another way of missing that spare. But now they've just put American Strike back in the lead, and American Strike working on a strike can get that all-important double early in the second game.
There's Marcia Kamrowski's strike to increase the lead to 21.
Little light, but she got a lot of good pin action. She could have been left with the bucket there. As it is, she'll be shooting a very simple 2-pin spare.
Now there's a good look at Marcia in her 2 previous Baker games.
And those, of course, are stats prior to today's competition.
Kamrowski is 21, student at the University of Florida.
Taking her time. I see some people get up in this position and want to get in a hurry. Uh-oh.
4 of 5 opens between the 2 teams. As the pressure and heat taking its toll a little bit here in game 2 of our championship match.
Kind of surprising, too, because they didn't have that much problem shooting spares earlier today during the Baker format match play. But some of that may be the title on the line at this point. Big shot.
And Susanne Nawojski straightening Conbow out with a strike here in the 3rd frame.
Very nice shot. Sent it out a little bit. The ball hooks back. They actually set up. It looked like it was going to go a little bit high and set up in the pocket. Good carry. Kulick lost the ball in the first.
Oh, and the double messenger.
What a great shot that was. Watch the pin action on this ball. The 5 goes into the 7. The head pin comes back across and takes out the 10. Great shot.
Oh, and answering back is Jeziorski, a double for Conbow. And the strikes have come as quickly as the opens have disappeared.
Well, but that's still a situation where you can't afford to miss those spares. Certainly 2 of them were splits, but you can't afford to miss spares in this competition.
What's a scale, mistress?
She actually weighs trucks. Uses a scale and weighs trucks. I had to ask also. A little bit high, Overturned the ball a little, lucky to leave just the 6-pin on this, grabbing her spare ball. Again, she's taking her time. She wants to make sure her hand is dry. Very important. Make every spare. Good shot.
Now moving to the 5th for Conbow. Nawojski and Jeziorski have set up a situation for Liz Johnson here in the 5th.
Well, and Liz Johnson has 10 strikes. The rest of her team only has 13. So she has certainly been a striking machine here, and they need it very badly right now. Good shot.
Kept it light, couldn't carry the 10.
Kept it light. It was a good shot. Actually, compared to some of the other shots, it looked like it got off her hand just a little bit late, and the ball skidded and broke a little bit late. So she's left with the 10-pin. Grabs another ball to shoot the spare. And Liz, generally a very, very good spare shooter. Doesn't use a lot of speed, just flattens it out and makes the 10-pin.
10-pin lead for Conbow. 5 frames remaining here at Country Club Lanes on the Brunswick World Team Challenge. 10-pin lead for Conbow. Final rotation through our bowlers to decide the championship here at Country Club Lanes. 6th frame, Janette Piesczynski for American Strike.
Janet a little high, more than a little high.
Oh, and back-to-back splits for Piesczynski. 6-7-10 back in the 1st, and now the 4-6-7.
And you see the ball, it's a little inside her target, but breaks very sharply. Goes through the nose. She's hoping for a good break and knows she's put her team back into more trouble than they were already in. This time she gets 2 of the 3, but they're starting to dig a hole. Now we see Conbow coming up, and they're going to have a 24-pin lead going into this frame.
Daugherty light, not carrying the 7.
A little bit of concern on her face. I don't think this will be a really difficult spare for her. However, in the first match, we saw people get the ball out into that out of bounds to try and hook it across the lane, and the ball just skidded too far and never got there. That one did.
6th frame from Country Club Lanes here in Baltimore on the Brunswick World Team Challenge. 23-pin lead for Conbow as we enter the 7th.
23-pin lead and 4 important frames to go. Here we see Laurie Ross. Lost the ball. Lucky to get 8 pins out of that one. Totally lost the ball. Drying her hand. Now that's a very large grip sack. You usually don't see them quite that large, but you see her just almost out to the edge, well, on the edge. Got a lot of pins for that in a relatively easy spare.
Oh, and a missed spare. That's 2 opens in a row for American Strike.
And they're starting to get in a lot of trouble. You see the concern on their face. Carol Bernston, Secretary of the Baltimore Women's Bowling Association, here on hand.
So, thanks for all their help here this weekend, and thanks to the countless volunteers across the country to make bowling a great sport it is.
Laura Colavito with a strike in the 7th frame, starting to extend their lead. So if American Strike is going to go anywhere, they need to get started now.
And Marilyn Millette joining us as well, first VP of Baltimore Women's Bowling Association. Part of the great volunteer staff, coast to coast.
Good shot. They needed that very, very badly. They know they're not out of it, they're just in trouble. Nice and firm, good follow through, perfect.
Kamrowski hoping to load it up in the 9th and 10th for American strike. Now here's a big shot for Nawojski, a chance to double 8th frame.
Another good shot.
There it is.
And it's interesting because they switched she and Susanne Jeziorski around. She struggled in the first match, bowling in the 4th position. Since they moved her to 3rd, she's been solid. And that's part of this Baker format. It's very important to be able to move your bowlers around and have them comfortable.
Maybe a little bit of the pressure relief at that point.
A little bit light. They needed that strike badly to catch a double and get a little bit back into this match. Frames are running out. Down by 44 pins if she can make this spare. 2 frames to go. Good shot.
On the spare. Kelly Kulick for American strike as Susanne Jeziorski comes up for Conbow, and a mark could basically lock things up for the title.
And Susan's been very, very strong. Here you see her lifetime stats prior to today, 4 spares. That's all they need at this point.
And there it is, 3 in a row, and that'll sew it up for Conbow.
And you see the excitement. Nice thing is, as we watch this shot again, she comes in a little bit light, but good pin action, good rotation. Look at that reaction. It'll be kind of a nice situation for Liz Johnson to get up in the 10th frame with absolutely no pressure.
A rarity for Liz.
As we see Keli Rapp finishing up for the American Strikes team, they've bowled very, very well. They led from start to finish. They never went out of the first position all day during the Baker format, but 1-game match, anything can happen. Excuse me, a 2-game match, anything can happen.
Conbow advances to the Silver Legacy Grand Championships to be held at the National Bowling Stadium. That coming up in August.
I don't know what the big smile and look was for. She covered that 4-pin perfectly.
Now, as we hear from a lot of bowlers who participate on this challenging lane condition, spares are celebrated.
As we find Keli Rapp's last shot, and of course it strikes. That always happens.
And some high averages. Carol Zarr, as part of that 760 record series, averaged 237 and change for her 6 games. And a look at the qualifying averages, a little bit lower than in the regular competition.
Well, and that's twofold. One of them is they're moving over to another center, and the other is the fact that you can't have just 1 or 2 people carry the team. And Liz Johnson's still striking and enjoying every second of it. Round by round, these 3 looked awfully strong throughout the entire competition. Conbow qualified 4th and moved into 2nd and never relieved that position the rest of the day until they just overtook American Strike for the title.
Now here's what you want in an anchor player.
And of course that one carries too.
When you're hot, you're hot. Add that to the cliche list, but unfortunately it is completely apropos.
Well, when it doesn't matter, they always carry. If that were to be a key situation, very likely it would not have. Liz Johnson, 12 of 14 strikes today. Make that 13 of 15. What a great performance.
Outstanding performance. Liz Johnson and Conbow advance to our Silver Legacy Grand Championships. We'll be back to meet them after this.
The Brunswick World Team Challenge is brought to you by Brunswick. Bowling is sold on Brunswick worldwide. By Contour Power Grips, the pioneers of the finger grip industry. More pros use Contour Power Grips. You should too. By Keepsake, designer and manufacturer of championship ring awards. By Bud Light, proud sponsors of bowling. Make it a Bud Light. And the Women's International Bowling Congress and the American Bowling Congress, providing championship service to sanctioned leagues across the United States. Make sure your league is sanctioned by the national governing bodies.
Conbow Buffalo advances to the Silver Legacy Grand Championships. A very exciting victory here at Country Club Lanes. And Susan Jeziorski, explain to me the lineup change and a little story on the way.
The lineup change, Susanne Nawojski, is her unlucky number is 13, and she was 4 and 9, and then added up to 13, so she said, change me, or else we're not going to win this thing, so we flip-flopped.
Well, it's certainly a game of numbers, and we'd like to pass out the awards, and joining us is Women's International Bowling Congress and Elaine Hagan.
Hi, Sue. What a great thrill for me to be here and congratulate you on behalf of WIBC. It was an awesome tournament. And I know your team and all the ladies here have bowled several times and have supported the challenge. So we're very, very happy for you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
And you basically told Liz Johnson to go ahead and get 13 and 15 strikes.
Oh, yeah, at least. She was slacking a little tonight, but that's okay.
Congratulations to our winners.
The next Brunswick World Team Challenge telecast is an open division event from right here at Country Club Lanes in Baltimore, Maryland. Check your regional sports network listings for dates and times. For Virginia Norton, this is Mike Jakubowski. So long from Country Club Lanes. This has been an ABC Eagle Productions telecast.